Let's get into it. It's crime o'clock, yeah, feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick-tock.
Welcome back to Crime O'Clock on Typically Unique. Hello, everybody. All right, we're going to get into it today. So I know I keep talking about the Treehouse and I keep talking about 427, but I really feel that location, figuring out that location of where was this party that gets us up to this 2 a.m. hour, right? And I feel around 2 a.m., there are a lot of college students out in the street area, either out in the White's parking lot, out on Taylor Avenue. We can hear them. Kennedy puts people there. Eric Gower is there after he drops Bethany and Maddie off, supposedly. And then after what I read yesterday, I'm like, was it even Eric Gower that dropped Kaylee and Maddie off? And so the reason I bring that up is because when you listen to Peyton Rossi's interview, he told all the freshmen sobros of his fraternity to stop driving at 2 a.m. That's problematic. Why? Why did you have them all stop driving at 2 a.m. and then you took over the driving? And then we had someone yesterday report that they took a driver home, and it was the same driver that dropped off Kaylee and Maddie, but they said it was a sobro. So there's a lot to straighten out there too. There's things that are popping up that I'm like, I feel if it's crime time or right before crime time, we should figure this out. It's important, especially if these are the witnesses or the people that are providing the information, right? Several key people in this crime: Bethany, Dylan, surviving roommates, Kennedy, Fitzgerald, chicken boy that cut his hand, the one guy with cuts on his hand that goes to a hospital on, cut on the night of the crime, goes to the hospital the next morning, that guy, all talking about the Treehouse. Are they talking about the Treehouse or are they talking about 427? So before we get into it, let's look at what I'm talking about. We'll just refresh our memories. The red dot right here, 1122, right? This is the lot where the house was. And if you go straight ahead, these two buildings are the Whites. 621 right here. This is Kayla Wen's house. So when they leave Saturday in the afternoon around 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., somewhere in there, they all walk over to the Whites here. Now, I read a report yesterday where there were several parties going on at the Whites. When I talk about the rack later, it is going to be in the Whites here somewhere. Right now, we're going to focus on 619 Taylor Avenue right here. This is the Treehouse. Okay. That's the Treehouse. 619. Allie's house, I believe, is over here. And it says 427. Okay. All the way over here. Now, I want you to notice, because when Bethany describes Allie's house, her words, Bethany's words, she says it's down at the end of the street. Okay. So you can see there's a intersection here. She starts to say the word intersection. They kind of cut it off. And you can see there's an island here. There's a couple islands that splits the traffic. So when she says intersection, yeah, this is an intersection. There's islands controlling the traffic. Now I was surprised that Google Earth, they put us here in this house, okay? When you go to Street View, we will do this real quick. Let me show you. So this is across the street. Okay, there's the island. You can see the traffic splits. There's the corner. Okay. So this is the house that they say is 427. Okay. Now there's building 1 here, building 2 here. I am assuming there is a building 3 over here, but we cannot see it because of this bush. So let me show you why I think that. So you will know what I'm talking about. When I say 427, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's look at this building. And if you see right by the door here, it says 433. Okay, 433. So it's not that one. And they have their own garage and their own, these are like duplexes. So this must be like a triplex, right? I'm assuming there's 3. So you have garage, apartment building, part of the house, and then another house over here. This one says 431. Okay. So they probably share this garage, share the parking lot, 2 buildings. Now you can see there's another building over here. Okay. But it's really hidden. So I'm not sure where you get in to this one. It looks like maybe the taller part is over here, but they also have their own garage. So I'm going to assume that is 427 because that's what it pinned on the map. Okay. Can't see it from this direction. It's hidden. I looked at this house. This one is 419. Okay. And then I also looked at the apartment building on the other side and it was like 503 or something like that. So this has to be it. All right. So that's what we're talking about. All right. So the great debate, Treehouse, 619 or 427. Let's see if we can finally figure this out today. Okay. All right. And we are going to start on page 156 in the book. Now, I'm not only using the book, but we start with the book. The book will often refer us to reports. And then from the reports, we have our awesome creators that have FOIA'd the interviews. All right. So I marked this page right here. And this is Dylan talking, right? So let's just get some backstory up here. So this is where Dylan explained, wait a minute, right here. Dylan met up with Gideon and the 2 of them went to Peter's apartment. Okay. She was with Ethan Chapin and Xana during part of the night, and Dylan explained Ethan had been trying to get in contact with his sister, one of the triplets, Maisie, because she had been upset about something and he was worried about her. Does anybody know what sorority Maisie was in? What formal did they have? I forgot to look that up. What formal did they go to? What sorority? I'm only asking because I want to see if it's the same as Kennedy. Kennedy is not an Alpha Phi or a Pi Beta Phi. She is something else. And before I tell you, I want to see if it's Maisie's. Dylan did not know what the issue was. She remembered Maisie told her brother she had not been answering her cell phone because she had been sleeping. She described Ethan as being very protective of his sister, as well as protective with all the roommates. The group of them, so this is interesting, the group of them then went to visit Allie. So I believe Dylan said that Gideon went with her. So they go to visit Allie, who she had previously met through Xana. And Kenzie was also there. I'm not sure who Kenzie is. So she also says Dylan herself, Yessie, Gideon, Jenna. So there's Jenna, because Jenna's just going to say, I just went to a different party. I just went to a different party. Claire and Lake were also there, as well as Ava and Zach, Jenna's twin brother. So that's Jenna McClure and Zach McClure. Then they ask her about alcohol, and she talks about playing Rage Cage. And I think Rage Cage was at Allie's house. That's what I think. So this is Dylan telling us they're going to Allie's. Didn't say a time, but all the people that were there, and she said the group of them went to visit Allie. I'll leave Maisie out there for a while, but I found out that Kennedy Fitzgerald is a Delta Gamma. Delta Gamma. Like, why are they coming into the mix? Why is everybody going to a Delta Gamma house? All right. So then we're going to go to page 188 and 189. On the night of November 12th, this is Lakeland, you guys. So now we're getting Lakeland's perspective. Lakeland McComas was at another, see, they just say, at another house party. That's like how Jenna McClure references it too, with some other friends. Like, we just want to be vague. McComas later sent me. So McComas sent a picture of the location. So Lakeland sends a picture of the location of the other house party. The other house party, which was at 427 Taylor Avenue. So what's the first house party? Is it Kayla Newen's? What's the first one? So here we have 427 Taylor Avenue. Mortensen listed the attendees of that party as Kennedy Fitzgerald. We did verify that Allie lived with Kennedy, I believe, and they have to live at 427 Taylor Avenue, not 419. Unless someone's majorly lying. 427 Taylor Avenue. Mortensen listed the attendees of that party as Kennedy Fitzgerald, female, Hayden Edwards, male, Jenna McClure, Claire Cirillo, and eventually Mortensen. There were potentially other attendees, but she did not know everyone, so she could not remember. All attendees were students. At this time, McComas thought Chapin and Kernodle were still at the Sigma Chi party. When McComas left 427 Taylor Avenue, Jen, clock it. You got it, girl. You got it. Thank you for that, Jen.
Clock it.
Clocking it over here. So when McComas left 427, she and Mortensen got a ride. Now, again, why are they lying about this if they are? You know, clearly Kennedy is going to remember walking out of her house and walking with Dylan and Bethany. And Dylan and Bethany are going to remember if they got, or Dylan and Lakeland, I'm sorry, if they got into a car or not. So who's going to be the tiebreaker between this information? The Sobro? Who was the Sobro? I don't think it was a freshman Sobro because, well, see, I keep saying that, but it's only Sigma Chi who canceled their freshman sober drug, right? Is it not Sigma Chi? Oh man, that's going to be another rabbit hole to go down. I will leave that thought process alone. We're going to stay on this. I'm not going down another rabbit hole. I'll do it later. When McComas left 427 Taylor Avenue, she and Mortensen got a ride from a Sobro freshman in a fraternity, and they went back to 1122 King Road. She could not remember the make of the car. Convenient. McComas could not remember exact times that she left the party. She had taken videos and photographs that night and said the timestamp from the last video at 427 Taylor Avenue was at 11:54 p.m. So just because that's your last video doesn't mean you left. That's what they're trying to say, but that's not what that means. The timestamp from the first video at 1122 King Road was 12:43. So there's almost an hour. 11:54 to 12:43 a.m. Kennedy said they don't leave till about 2 a.m. Lots of discrepancy here. I'm starting to think it's possible that Dylan and Lakeland could have went back to the house. They could have went back to 1122, taken photos, taken their, set the popcorn out, did what all they needed to do to set a stage and then left again. They could have. All right. So that was Lakeland's. Lakeland is telling us it's 427 Taylor Avenue. Dylan told us it's 427 Taylor Avenue. Oh, this is Bethany. Here we've got Bethany. So Bethany went to the Sigma Chi party around 8:30 p.m. She says with Ethan and Xana, but then if you listen to her interviews, she says, no, we went first. They were not far behind us. She talks about hanging out, and then down here, Bethany did not see Ethan or Xana at the party and left to go to Kennedy Fitzgerald's residence at 427 Taylor Avenue. Bethany walked home around 1-ish. So now she's saying 1-ish. Didn't she say a different time earlier? Bethany walked home around 1-ish, and when she got back to 1122 King Road, Dylan and Lakeland McComas were at the residence, and they all watched a movie together. That's Bethany's. And then we've got page 211. And then that will be all that's in the book about Allie's house that I could find. Okay, let's find more information about Allie's house on page 211. Where did I have it marked at? Right here. Oh, I did share this yesterday, but we'll just look at it again because I'm pulling everything from the book, everything from the interviews I could find, and the reports. Okay, just to lock it down. Okay, because I know there's other people that think it's the treehouse, it's the treehouse, it's the treehouse. Something might have been going on at the treehouse, but I don't know what. Oh no, we do know what. Peyton Rossi told us that there were a bunch of guys at the treehouse. So I'm suspecting if it's actually guys that live at the treehouse. They were watching football, and he's the one that I believe he says Emily and Hunter are there. And he also says Emily's the only female. So that's what makes me think the treehouse is not a female house. Just from what I'm picking up on the reports that I'm seeing and digging into right now. We could find something that disproves that, but I'm feeling very strong about 427 being Allie Benson and Kennedy Fitzgerald's. Okay. I mean, unless you find other stuff to disprove this. All right, so here we go. This is also Bethany. She talks about in the morning. Because I've been on this for a long time because when I did my timelines, okay, so when I did the timeline of Bethany and Xana, they both left the Whites party in the afternoon and they went to Allie's. There's something about Allie's house this day. And that's when Ethan got the text message, "You're getting cheated on." Okay. So that's what sent me on the one of the reasons that set me on the path for this. So once Dylan, Maddie, and Xana got back, like in the morning from Taco Bell, they started getting ready for the day. Kaylee, Dylan, Maddie, and Bethany were in Kaylee's room, and they were getting ready for a party at 621 Taylor Street, the Whites. The house belonged to, oh, here's where I wanted to show you where I found those names yesterday. Bianca, Sailor, and Kayla. So Kayla Newen lives with Bianca and Sailor. The apartment is located on the second floor on the far east side of the apartment building. So if we were looking at the Whites, we can find the exact apartment, second floor, far east side. That's Kayla N's. So then Bethany stated this was between 11 and 12. It wasn't. It was really between 2 and 3, according to everybody else. Okay. Bethany stated she was at the Whites up until around 15:48. So 3:48. So almost 4 p.m. when she left with Xana. So just Bethany and Xana. Bethany and Xana. Maddie, Kaylee, and Dylan, they stayed at the White. So they stayed at Kayla Newen's apartment. Ethan had left before her and Xana. I don't think it takes any guy like 3.5 hours to get ready to go to a formal. Ethan didn't have to go to that formal until I believe like 7. I think they had to be there at 7. But he's leaving the Whites at, they just got there between 2:30 and 3. Did Ethan not stay there long? This time is interesting. This time is interesting. I don't think Ethan's there long. And then we don't know where he goes. We don't know where he goes. Is 15:48, 3:48, right? So Bethany's saying her and Xana left at 3:48, but Ethan had left before that. But everybody said that they arrived at the Whites party between 2 and 3. They weren't there very long. So then Bethany and Xana went to Allie Benson's place somewhere on Taylor. Bethany and Xana left there around 16:51. So they were at Allie's for an hour from like 4 to 5. From the 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. time period, Xana and Bethany are at Allie Benson's Kennedy Fitzgerald's apartment. Then they went back to, and we don't get any other information about that. Any information is not written in the book, and it's redacted, blurred out, silenced in the interviews. I have a super short clip of Bethany from her first interview, just so that we can verify that. I'm just trying to verify information here. Just because it said it in the book, is it true and accurate? So we're going to listen to Bethany's own words in the interview.
And
What time was that at?
I don't know, maybe like 12-ish. I could be wrong.
No, it's fine.
Okay, I apologize. We got to listen to the way she's talking, the way he's talking.
And then I was
just kind of hanging out still at the house.
Mm-hmm. And then I went to our other friend's house.
Okay. What time was that at?
I don't know, maybe like 12-ish. I could be wrong.
And where's that house?
It's just like up the street. I don't know that address.
Okay, up the street from.
Sigma Chi,
Okay.
kind of.
So you guys are at Sigma Chi, so you're walking back towards.
We're walking back towards my house, and then we up this way.
So like when you got to Taylor Street, you went up. So if you walked all the way from Sigma News.
Or
Sigma Chi, sorry.
yeah.
So right now she's talking about when she left Sigma Chi. You know, you got to leave Sigma Chi and go straight towards the street, which is heading towards her home. But then she's saying we turned on Taylor and we walked down Taylor. So she's describing it to him.
And you know the apartments, the whites?
Yep, I know the whites.
It's like that street, that way.
So on Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you know roughly where on Taylor? Or does she live maybe off streets?
It's on Taylor, but it's like one of the end houses by the intersection.
So right there, if you can see the screen, she said it's one of the end houses. So I showed you on Google Earth that it's like on that corner. And she starts to say it's by the and I don't know why she stops, intersection, right? That's why we looked at that.
I don't know how to explain it.
All right. Okay. And whose house is it that you went to?
It's, and I don't.
Why can't we hear the name of the people, whose house it is? I mean, we learn it in other documents, but that's why it's so ridiculous that they're redacting these interviews, because we're getting the information one way or another usually.
Their other roommate.
And
So there must be at least 3 people living at Allie's. Allie, Kennedy, and someone else.
so you're here at this house. How long were you here?
Maybe like 40 minutes. And then I left by myself and went back to my house.
So you walked home maybe around 1-ish?
Yeah.
All right, so she's proclaiming, you know, she's got to live with that narrative now that she left by herself, walked home around 1-ish. That's what she has been saying every time. Okay, that's Bethany's account. All right, this is Bethany's second interview, the 16th, I believe. 1 hour and 8 minutes in.
I don't need you to give that one to me. So you and Xana left there.
Mm-hmm.
How long were you at the place?
Not that long, I don't think. I texted Maddie and asked if they all went home, and she said yes, and then we left like shortly after that.
Okay, what time was that at?
Like 4:51.
Okay, and you went home?
Yes.
Okay. What was next for you after that?
We all made food and sat on the couch.
Okay, wait a minute. I got to back it up more because she's talking about going to Allie's in the afternoon. Okay, so this is the part where she's at the Whites. She's at Kayla Newen's, and it's around 2:00 p.m.
After how long do you think you were here at the Taylor Street address? Or when did you leave it?
I might have a video. Me and Xana left together. Ethan left a long time before us, but I don't know where he went.
Okay.
I don't.
Still light outside when you left?
Yes, but it was like foggy out, so it looked a little darker.
Okay.
It was after 3:48.
So sometime after 3:48?
Yeah.
Okay. And Ethan left some time before that?
Mm-hmm. I believe he left. No, he didn't. Never mind.
And what about Maddie and Kaylee? And
Maddie,
Dylan?
Kaylee, and were still there.
Okay, so they stayed.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would be the next thing then? When you and Xana left, where'd you go?
This place.
So she just pointed to it. She said, this place.
Is that with someone?
And then someone else.
So that would be the other house down the road a little bit. So what would be the next thing then when you and Xana left? Where'd you go?
This place.
Is with someone?
He just asked, was it kind of sounds like a Z. I mean, that's all we can do is speculate. What do you guys hear?
Is with someone?
And then someone else.
We got to talk about alleys at night. Okay. So let me go up here. 1 hour and 13 minutes. I think they're going to talk about going at night.
Right at 9, before 9.
I don't know.
Just
So
take you guys
around
roll
that
along
time.
to get ready.
Yeah, not really.
Okay. Do you know who this other fraternity member was?
He's a freshman, that's all I know. I don't know his name though.
So you guys go over there around 9-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go straight? Where did you go to? Because there's the individual apartments and then there's the main portion of that.
Well, actually, me and Maddie left first.
Okay.
They weren't that far behind us though. They were just a little behind us.
Okay.
And we went to our friend's room to put our drinks in there. And then we sat there for a second, but then went and found Xana and Ethan in Ethan's brother's apartment.
Okay.
And then we hung out with Ethan, Xana, and Ethan's brother
Yeah.
for a while.
Okay.
And then people would like come in and out and just say hi and talk and stuff.
So now at this point it's you, Xana, Ethan, all hanging out in the place.
Yeah, and I was there too.
Okay. And then
came, I believe. I don't really remember what time she came. And then one of my friends, he came.
do you know the last name? I think that was the one you couldn't tell me last time.
Her full name is something else than.
She's talking about Yessie. Talking about Yessie right now. It's super long name, so they just call her Yessie.
And that's her last name?
Mm-hmm.
So what's her actual first name?
Yesenia. I don't know. I'm just making that up. I know somebody named that.
So she shows up around 10. What do you guys do next?
We hung out there a little longer.
Okay.
And then we went into like the main party.
So Bethany's saying she's at Sigma Chi from like, according to her, anywhere from 8 to 9 p.m. And then Dylan comes sometime after 10:30, right? And they're both at Sigma Chi at that time for a while, according to them.
Do you roughly remember when you saw Ethan and Xana up at the house?
Just a few more seconds.
Not really. But I remember right before I left with you, I grabbed my backpack from when they were both sitting in there.
They were,
Yeah.
do you remember what time that was?
It was after 12:17 a.m.
So if she's saying she left Sigma Chi after 12:17, and Kennedy is saying that Bethany and Dylan were at her house until like she said 2 or 3 hours, right? That's why I think they were playing Rage Cage at her apartment or her house. And then so Bethany's saying I'm at Sigma Chi till 12:17, but then I left Allie's to go home at 1. So she walked all the way down the road. That's going to take a good 5 minutes. And then go inside for like just 20 minutes and then walk all the way back home. If you did that, then you like, that sounds like a reason. Like I have to go there for a reason before I go home. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Or she didn't really leave at 1 a.m. So I know that there has been some discussion online about when the girls leave, supposedly Allie and Kennedy's, and Kennedy says, I walked them to the Whites. Oh, wait a minute, you guys. Doesn't that make more sense? So let's look again. Let me show you this. This makes more sense. Okay. Hopefully, can you see the map? Hopefully. Wouldn't it make more sense if Kennedy and Allie live way over here, okay, on the corner? Doesn't that make sense that Kennedy would walk them? She would walk with them down the road. She walked about down to here. She said she walked to about the White's parking lot. That makes more sense to me if you're going to like walk somebody than just coming out of this house right here, the Treehouse. Like they could have walked out the house and walked through the parking lot. Like, I don't know. That's not really walking anybody, because she said she only walked them to the Whites. So that's just another point that I wanted to bring up. It makes more sense if they're leaving at like 2 a.m-ish, 2 a.m, sometime around there. They're going to get escorted like halfway down Taylor Avenue. In my opinion, unless she wasn't by herself, unless someone else walked back with her, that would really make the most sense. But
And then you and go to.
Back to
Yeah, okay.
back to Allie's.
at this point, I wasn't there, just
Allie wasn't there, just Kennedy? Wait, what? I never heard this before.
at this point, I wasn't there, just
Interesting. Did you guys hear that? Allie wasn't there, just Kennedy? Okay, so that was all 427 Taylor Avenue. Okay, and that was a good point somebody brought up about, let's look at that again. Would they be caught if they were out walking down there near 427 Taylor Avenue? Is there any way they would have been captured on Linda Lane? Here's 1330 Linda Lane. Okay. Now this one, the dumpster. Here's the dumpster. It does catch the road right here, you guys. I remember somebody talking about people walking. We should be able to see them. You guys want to look? Do you want to look and see if we can see them? It should be on the dumpster cam. I don't want to watch dead air, but we can hear like the voices. So, if 2 a.m. is crime time because we're hearing the blood curdling screams and the stop its, and I mean, it sounds like that is when the crime is happening. This 11 p.m. time is more like people are out on the street, they're moving around. If I was walking with someone else or a group of people out on the street, you're going to talk loud, especially if you've been drinking. So that's what I'm expecting to see on here and to hear on this. Okay, 4 seconds. We should see people. Now, there they are. That looks like 2 people. I'm going to do something. Do you see them? But they're walking away from Allie's house towards Sigma Chi at 11:17. Don't you wish there was a camera on the Whites facing Taylor Avenue? Man. So this is Aaron Morris, Moscow Police Department number 15. This is November 15th. On November 15th at 11:50 hours, AA, okay, so Austin here, came into the substation to speak to me. I was told by Corporal Payne A went to Gritman, that's the hospital, on November 13th to seek medical care for cuts, with an S, cuts on his hand. I asked Austin what happened to his hand. He stated on November 12th, 2022, at around 2000 hours, he cut his hand. So what? 8 o'clock is what is he saying? 8 p.m. He cut his hand attempting to cut chicken for a sandwich. Austin stated he was intoxicated, and when he was trying to cut the meat, his pocket knife slipped and cut his hand. I asked when he went to the hospital. He read, this is what killed me. This is the 15th, you guys. He read his wristband from the hospital and he said he went in on November 13th at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He still had his wristband on. Bendito. That's hilarious. Austin told me he lived at the blank house. The laceration was on his right hand. He sent me a photograph of the injury and I attached it to the case. I asked Austin if he knew any of the victims. He stated he had seen Ethan 2 times at parties, but did not know any of the females. He said the blank sister house, is he at, I will add him. I will find that out and add it to the list. All right. Moving on. So he lives at, I'm guessing it's going to be some fraternity house. The laceration was on his right hand. He sent me a photo of the injury, attached it to the case. I asked Austin if he knew any of the victims. He stated he had seen Ethan. I read that part. Austin ran me through his weekend. Here we go. From Saturday morning. He stated he slept in Saturday morning, November 12th. He woke up around 9:30 a.m. Austin said he went to the Treehouse. So here, we're allowed to see the word. So Austin goes to the Treehouse, okay, which was a blank outhouse. So it is associated with, is it a fraternity? I'm kind of thinking it's a fraternity. The Treehouse is a blank outhouse located at blank Taylor Avenue. And that's, what did I say? 917, something like that. He said he spent the whole day there watching the game. He said he left the Treehouse at about 19:30 hours, 7:30, went back to the blank Elm Street. He said he was drinking all night and finally went to bed on November 13th at around 4 o'clock in the morning. Austin said he was with his friends. Now, look at this. Isn't this interesting? LM. And I immediately thought, oh my gosh, it's Lakeland. But when you listen to Austin's interview, it's a guy. So there's some guy, LM. I'm not sure who that is, but that's who he's with. Probably for fraternity brothers. I don't know. And he was with I'm guessing it's a CK. M said he and Austin were walking downstairs at the blank house. So here's my question. Did this happen at the Treehouse? Did this happen at the Treehouse or did this happen at the fraternity house? And I know in the interview, the police officer asks about going to the house because they wanted to see the broken window and everything. When Austin missed a step and fell into the window, whoever this M person is said at the time, neither he or Austin saw any blood. M said Austin was cutting chicken and he saw the injury. According to M, Austin was extremely intoxicated and thought he cut his hand while cutting the chicken, but M believed he cut it on the glass. This is problematic right here. This is problematic. So not only do you have a fraternity member associated with the parties that people from 1122 were attending this night, he has an injury. He has a cut on his hand. So that's bad enough. But then that conflicting stories of how he got the cut, right? It's not just a 100% sure. Here's how we know what happened. You know, you would want that on the night of a quadruple homicide and you're the guy with the cut hand. So it's already bad enough, but then having this conflicting account of how it happened is even worse, in my opinion. So Austin said he was willing to sign a consent form for the medical records. He could not remember if he cut his hand on the window or the knife. Austin said his friends told him to go to the hospital to make sure there was not glass in his hand. I went with Austin to the blank house. He showed me the window they found broken. I photographed the window and attached it to the case. So I'm thinking the Treehouse is a fraternity outhouse is what I'm thinking. And all I've heard or found in the reports and interviews that I've been listening so far, digging into this, is that there was a football game there, like during the day. A bunch of guys there watching the football game, and they all said they left at like between 8, 10, something like that p.m. and then went their separate ways. I hope I shared enough evidence with you today that I believe Allie and Kennedy lived at 427. In my mind, it's more than a belief. I think it's the what the book says matches the interviews. If everybody was telling the truth, unless they just did a big pulled one over on us that they don't want us to know about who's at the Treehouse or whatever. Yeah, I think it was definitely, I think Allie and everybody, they were all going to Allie and Kennedy's at 427 Taylor Avenue. So, and that's important. And now that I'm realizing that they should have been caught on that dumpster camera footage, I want to dive into that too and see if we can see anything else at those different times. I'll see you guys tomorrow back here, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And I'm going to clock out for now. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Subscribe. It's free and keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now, right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. That could be unique, yeah, that's you and me. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear. Show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. It's free, it keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew, now right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Yeah, that's you and me, that's you and me. Don't forget to like, hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear.